Mr. Miller, when you discussed the preliminary report with Ms. Johnson, did you go into all the details or most of the details in this report?
I believe I did,
Okay.
Congressman.
Did you? This was on May the 17th of 2011.
Yes, that's what my calendar indicates, and that's the best of my recollection. We had
so she knew about these accusations on May the 11th then?
Indeed, and my deputy, Bob Erickson, leaned over and said this is very unusual that we would do an interim report, but it's so that you can fix future abuses.
Did you tell her about the bullying that took place?
I think we may have alluded to witnesses that were afraid of retaliation, but I'm not positive. It's been about a year ago. So.
Well, that's pretty significant, though. I mean, if you were talking to her and there were people that were pushing other employees around, it seems to me that you probably mentioned it at least.
I believe we did, but...
Okay. Ms. Johnson, do you remember May the 11th? Do you remember this report?
Congressman, I apologize. I don't remember that meeting, and I don't have access to my schedule to jog my memory.
You don't remember the meeting?
Well, the Inspector General and I met with some regularity, and blurring meetings.
This is not an insignificant report.
No, I'm not saying I didn't remember the issues. I can't place where we had that meeting, and I can't jog my memory.
You can't remember the time, the date?
No, I don't have my calendar with me.
But he talked about the irregularities.
Yes.
And he mentioned the pressure that was put on employees, if not bullying, and you didn't take any action about that.
There are a couple of things I must repeat. First of all, it was an interim communication.
Yeah,
it was not the final report.
No,
I asked for the investigation, and I wanted to hear the full context. I did not want to work with non-conclusive
I understand. I heard that before.
All right.
But Mr. Neely was still in his position. You had been told that he had bullied people or pushed them, and you kept him in his position, and you gave him a $9,000 bonus. It just seems almost unthinkable. I mean, if somebody came in my office and said, there's somebody on your staff that's pushing other people around on your staff, and I don't have a staff anywhere near the kind of number of people that you dealt with, but if somebody was pushing members of the organization around, I would have taken action immediately. I certainly wouldn't have left him in his position, and I certainly wouldn't have given him a bonus. So, I wish you'd elaborate just a little bit more on that, because I think this is really important. I can't imagine you seeing this report, talking to Mr. Miller and his associate, and him telling you this information, and you say, well, it's just an interim report. We'll wait until it's finalized.
I have great respect for the Inspector General, and he and I have worked together a great deal. We asked for this investigation. One does not interfere with an investigation. He was, I assumed, moving quickly and would be getting me the final report.
Well, let me just say this. You wanted to see the final report, but if you knew Mr. Neely was accused of doing this in the interim report, and you knew that they've alluded to him pushing employees around and threatening them, why wouldn't you take him and put him in some kind of a position where he couldn't do that while the investigation continued? I just can't understand why you left him there during the next, 8, 9 months when you knew what he had done, or you had a pretty good idea. And even if you didn't know for sure, you would have taken the precaution of putting him someplace where he couldn't bully anybody again. I hate bullies. Don't you?
I hate bullying, too.
Congressman, if I may, for the record, the bullying and the coercive atmosphere, we probably laid out the facts at the May 17 meeting. We probably didn't get very much into the bullying aspect. A lot of that came up later on in the investigation. So to be fair to...
Well, did you mention anything about that to her?
I don't recall if we did.
Well, you said a few minutes ago that you mentioned some coercive action.
It was a coercive atmosphere. We did have a confidential witness.
And you told her about the confidential witness?
No, because the witness is confidential. We did tell her what was in the PowerPoint.
Did you give her enough information to where she should have been concerned about this guy?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, that's the point. If there was concern about Mr. Neely, why didn't you put him in a position where he couldn't do what he was doing, at least during the interim for the rest of the investigation?
Do I only have 3 seconds?
No, go ahead. I'm sure he'll let you finish.
Take the time you need.
Thank you. All right. When I asked for the investigation, this was a very serious, when Susan Britta requested the investigation, and as we received that interim communication, it was very clear that it was very serious. And I did not want to move until I had a formal, official, complete, conclusive report. At the same time, I did a number of things to manage the situation. First of all, I put a regional administrator into Region 9, supervising immediately Mr. Neely. He did not have an immediate supervisor in the region, and we appointed a regional administrator in June, relieving him of his second job and putting direct supervision in there. We also immediately appointed a new general counsel for the region when that person retired, so that I wanted to be sure we had a good team in the region that I could trust around him. We also did a number of other things around management controls and conference management and so on I can get into. But it was very important to me not to in any way interfere in a way that would upset the investigation that the Inspector General was doing. Now, you have to understand, I did not think it would take 9 more months to complete. I thought it looked pretty complete from what I was hearing, and I wasn't expecting to wait that much longer. So those were the circumstances under which I.
Thank you.